morning. You're listening to The Brief Wake Up, your mindful start to the day. I am Handel, your daily coffee companion, helping you wake up informed, thoughtful, and maybe just a little amused before the day gets old. If you're commuting, corralling kids, or just standing in line for caffeine, you're in the right place. Let's get you caught up. This morning for health, let's talk about one of the oldest cold remedies in the book, zinc. You've probably seen it in lozenges and syrups promising to knock out your sniffles. But does it actually work? Or is it just another winter placebo? Well, the research says yes, but with a catch. Zinc can help shorten the duration and reduce the severity of a common cold. However, only if you take it within the first 24 to 48 hours of that first sore throat or runny nose. Wait too long, and it's basically useless. Here's how it works. Zinc helps your immune system in a few powerful ways. It can block rhinoviruses, the main cause of colds, from replicating. It can prevent them from attaching to your nasal and throat cells. And it gives your white blood cells a performance boost, helping them clear infection faster. Now, not all forms of zinc are equal. The most effective types are zinc acetate and zinc gluconate lozenges. Studies show that a total of about 75 milligrams of elemental zinc per day, taken in divided doses, can cut the average cold short by about 1 to 2 days. The trick is to let the lozenge dissolve slowly in your mouth. Don't chew it or swallow it whole. The local contact in your throat is part of how it works. And here's a warning. Skip zinc nasal sprays. They've been linked to loss of smell, sometimes permanently. Zinc isn't a magic bullet, but it's one of the few over-the-counter supplements that consistently shows real benefit when used early, wisely, and for just a few days. So next time you feel that tickle in your throat, don't wait. A little zinc might help you bounce back faster, way before your cold gets the better of you. The news is next. This morning on the news front, we're waking up to a world-first move, and it's shaking up the global conversation on kids, screens, and safety. As of today, Australia has officially banned social media for anyone under 16 years old. That's right. No TikTok, no Instagram, no Snapchat, no YouTube. Starting now, every major platform is required by law to block under 16 accounts or face fines of up to 49.5 million Australian dollars, about 33 million US dollars. The rule comes from the country's e-safety commissioner, and it applies to almost every major platform, from X and Reddit to Twitch and Facebook. It's a sweeping step, one Australia's government says is meant to protect children from the mental health pressures, cyberbullying, and addictive design of social media. Supporters are calling it long overdue. Many parents and educators say it's about time someone drew a hard line, giving kids a chance to grow up without constant comparison, trolling, and endless scrolling. But critics say the move goes too far, calling it a blunt instrument that punishes everyone instead of addressing the root problem. They warn that teenagers will just find workarounds, using VPNs, fake birthdays, or smaller, unregulated platforms. Human rights groups also say the ban raises serious privacy concerns, especially around how age verification will actually work, and it's already being challenged in Australia's highest court, with claims that it infringes on freedom of communication. Still, Australia is not backing down. The government says it wants to start a new global conversation, one where the burden of proof shifts to the tech companies. And the world is watching. Leaders in Denmark, Malaysia, and New Zealand have already said they'll study Australia's rollout closely, and might follow if it works. So, this could be the beginning of a global reset, a kind of great offline experiment. If it works, it could become a model for protecting digital childhoods. If it fails, it might prove just how hard it is to regulate a world that never logs off. Either way, it's a test, not just for Australia, but for all of us. It's about where we draw the line between protection and freedom in the digital age. And yes, somewhere out there, a 16-year-old just got logged out. For good. The Big Sip is next. For our Big Sip, let's talk about a habit that's quietly corroding how we communicate. The ad hominem attack. It's Latin for to the person, and it's what happens when someone attacks you instead of your argument. You've heard it before. You'd say that because you're bitter. You can't talk about that, you're not married. Or the classic, what do you even know? It's one of the oldest fallacies in the book, and one of the easiest to slip into, because it's emotional. It feels good to win by discrediting the person, but it's not really winning. It's escaping the work of thinking. Psychologists say it's a defensive reflex. When someone challenges our worldview, the brain sees it as a threat. So instead of addressing the point, we attack the source. That's how debates turn into shouting matches, and conversations turn into character wars. So how do you respond when someone throws an ad hominem your way? You do what they didn't, you stay logical. First, don't take the bait. Remember, an insult isn't an argument. If the goal is to trigger you, silence is strategy and encourage them to make their case. Second, redirect to substance. Say something like, let's not make it about me. Let's talk about the idea. You don't have to defend your character to make your point. And third, set boundaries with grace. You can always say, if this is about me, we're not going to get anywhere. But if it's about the topic, I'm listening. That's how you turn a verbal punch into a teachable moment. The truth is, the internet has turned debate into a contact sport. But every time you rise above an ad hominem, calmly, firmly, without venom, you're proving something deeper. That clarity outlasts noise, and composure is still the sharpest argument of all. Because at the end of the day, logic doesn't yell, it just waits for everyone else to cool down and catch up. The lighter roast is next. For our lighter roast, let's talk about something simple, yet strangely complicated, the art of giving a compliment. You'd think it would come naturally. After all, we love being appreciated. We light up when someone notices our effort, our style, or even our small victories. But when it's time to give that same energy back, something short circuits. We hesitate. We edit ourselves. We tell ourselves, they probably already know. The truth is, most of us are wired for recognition, both to crave it and to give it. It's part of how we survived as social creatures. Compliments are the emotional glue of human connection. They signal, I see you. And in evolutionary terms, that meant safety, belonging, and trust. But somewhere along the way, that instinct got buried under modern awkwardness. We started overthinking kindness. Maybe we're afraid of sounding fake, or being misread, or just saying it wrong. So we keep it to ourselves, and in doing so, we accidentally starve the world of something it actually needs to thrive. Here's the interesting part. Research shows people almost always underestimate how much a compliment will mean to someone. When scientists asked volunteers to give a compliment to a stranger, the givers thought it would feel awkward. The receivers, they felt great. In fact, they remembered the moment days later. That's how powerful a few words can be. So maybe the next time you think something kind about someone, say it out loud. Tell the barista their playlist made your morning better. Tell a coworker they handled a tough meeting with grace. Tell a friend that the world's quieter when they're not around. Because a compliment doesn't just lift someone else, it tunes you back to the better parts of yourself. It's proof that we're still paying attention in a world built to distract us. And maybe, just maybe, the cure for social disconnection isn't another app, another filter, or another like. It's a few honest words, said in real time, from one human being to another. The commemoration is next. This morning, December 10th, is a day that says a lot about what it means to be human. It's Human Rights Day, marking the moment in 1948 when the United Nations adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, a promise that every person, everywhere, deserves dignity, freedom, and equality. 70 plus years later, it's still one of the most powerful sentences ever written. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. It's also Nobel Prize Day. The first ceremony was held on this date back in 1901, and among those early laureates was Marie Curie, who made history twice, first in 1903 for physics, and again in 1911 for chemistry. The only person ever to win Nobels in two scientific fields. Her legacy? Proof that curiosity and courage are as human as compassion. But this day isn't just about ideas and ideals, it's about invention too. On December 10th, 1690, the Massachusetts Bay Colony printed the first paper money in the Western Hemisphere. It was an experiment in trust, the belief that a piece of paper could stand for value. And if you think about it, that same trust is the foundation of every promise, every system, every handshake we still rely on today. It was also on this day in 1898 that the Spanish-American War officially ended with the Treaty of Paris, reshaping the map and the role of the United States in the world. Another reminder that progress, however messy, always rewrites the lines of history. And because humanity knows how to mix the profound with the playful. Today's also Dewey Decimal System Day, celebrating the humble library code that keeps our knowledge in order. So, if you ever found your favorite book exactly where you left it, you can thank Mr. Dewey. Oh, and one more reason to raise a glass. It's National Lager Day. Because if history teaches us anything, it's that after all the treaties, discoveries, and declarations, we've still got to sit down occasionally, share a drink, and toast the strange, stubborn brilliance of being human. This morning, we talked about the science of small things that make a big difference, from zinc that can shorten your next cold, to the simple act of saying something kind out loud. We looked at Australia's daring social media ban for kids, a test of how far society will go to protect childhood in a digital age. And we closed on a reminder that while logic keeps us clear and compliments keep us connected, it's human rights, curiosity, and a touch of lager that keep us truly human. This is Handel for the brief wake-up. Remember to be calm, kind, and curious. Top off that cup and see you tomorrow.